So I'm here with Mr. Anthony Brotherson and Lyndon Andrews, our 5Z1 Productions manager and producer.
Yeah,
How are both of you this afternoon?
pretty good actually.
Fighting a little cold, but all well.
Hard at work still, despite, being under the weather, post-carnival and all of that. So can you guys tell me a little bit about 5Z1 Productions? How did it originate? What is the purpose behind it? I know you guys are also involved in classes. Who wants to go first?
Well, 5Z1 Production was initially, we started off as a recording group, and the inception of 5Z1 was that it was a class of students who they said that would never make it out. And the concept that we did with 5Z1 is just to show that regardless of what happened or people think you are unable to attain success, that is possible. So 5Z1 is more for persons who everyone thinks will never make it. So that's the concept of 5Z1 Productions.
All right, so anyone out there who has any dreams or visions of, is it just only music production or?
Currently, we are focused in music production. However, we also involved in the entertainment industry as well. We're into live sound, video production, and events as well.
Okay, all right. So I know you guys have one of your students. He's a visually impaired student. What was that experience like? I think this is the first visually impaired student you guys have had. Have there been any? Of course, there are challenges, upsides. Can you tell me about that experience?
Kwesi was our first visually impaired student. And we actually took the initiative to start promoting these music production audio engineering classes that we have, much more having the success that we had last year with regards to Runway Dubai. We were actually looking for talented persons who we could incorporate in our business so that when it is we leave for Dubai this year, we could actually have people here working. And Kwesi actually contacted us after we did all our promotion and stated that he wanted to come and learn. And we were like, all right, all is well, come through, come and register. And then he stated that he was visually impaired. And we, as Anthony stated previously, we have a heart for persons in the society who may lack in some way or may need extra assistance. So instead of us turning them away and saying, well, he's visually impaired, we took the opportunity and took the challenge of saying, all right, here, what we're going to educate this person and actually show them how it is to do the work we do. Right? Kwesi came here. He's a fantastic person. He has a very open personality. And yes, we encountered some challenges, even with regards to the system. There was this voice accessibility feature that he introduced us to, which was able to kind of guide him around the computer itself. But with regards to the software that he actually has to use, it was not as descriptive as I would like it to be as a producer, So that is even something that we're looking at with regards to him, that we know in the process, because since it is we actually did the classes with Kwesi, there are a number of other persons now who are following our page who are visually impaired and want to come and do classes as well. So now that we are actually preparing to accept those students, we are intending to work with Kwesi and structure a course especially for visually impaired students.
Okay. I was actually about to ask you that, going forward, would you guys be prepared to take on more persons with visual impairment?
Yes. I was actually speaking to Kwesi on last week, and because he expressed to his interest that, Kwesi is like 24 now and he's thinking about getting a job and he'd like to have a family like everybody else. And so I was asking him, I said, Kwesi, how do you feel about teaching a class? He's like, well, once I learn the software and I know what to do, and it shouldn't be a problem. I say, what do you think about teaching a class of visually impaired students? He was like, well, yeah, Lyndon, that would be great. So now we are at the stage where we want to structure a course where he can teach. And I think even visually impaired students would be comfortable with a visually impaired student, or past student rather, teaching them as well. So that is something that we're looking at going forward.
Nice. So does this also mean that you guys will have to adjust or bring in new equipment specifically for visually impaired persons?
Yes. What he stated to us, and I think that was one of the challenges that he had, is that our system is so much more advanced to what they are accustomed learning with, which he would have stated, like in Nalis, and so they normally work on a PC and they use software such as Sona. But we took him through the same route as every other student and taught him Logic and Pro Tools, which are industry standard software. And so what we want to do is, yes, we may purchase like PCs and so, but I was informing Kwesi that we should not offer the same thing as other like Nalis, and so we should structure the course so that these visually impaired students could work just as someone who has their full senses. And I think that is one of the successes that we have been able to achieve with regards to Kwesi, that he can sit and operate the software. Like, he was in class with some of the other students just last week Friday, and they were quite amazed to see how it is. He was setting up the microphone, recording them as well. They were quite shocked because they themselves have some problems when it is they try to operate. And here is somebody who is visually impaired, and he seems to be much more stable than them. You know, so going forward, we definitely looking forward to having more visually impaired students and catering for that aspect of the market.
Now, to kind of backtrack a bit, I think it was one of you who mentioned Dubai, but I heard you saying going back to Dubai. So is it going to be an annual thing? You guys go to Dubai every year?
We've been in contact with persons in Dubai, and they expressed an interest in having us there to work with them on a yearly basis. And we have even considered having the event in Trinidad as well to make that connection between Dubai and Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice. And to bring you back again to 5Z1, can you tell me what is the cycle for classes? How do they usually run?
The entire program is for 2 months, which incorporates 2 courses, music production and audio engineering. We also offer DJ courses. But basically what we do is that, like, we have just open registration, or registration was actually open on the 12th, I think, of February, to accept students for March. So the next intake starts on the 9th of March, and we may open registration like in April for students to come in May. So while that 2-month period is going on with present students, we open registration like a month later. Yeah.
And finally, is there anything you would like to just tell the audience if anyone is interested in music production? Tell them anything about 5Z1. Encourage them to come down to take classes. Anybody?
Well, basically 5Z1 is pretty open to the public and to working with, well, not any and everyone, because now that we have that Dubai connection, we have to be careful of the image that we put out there with regards to our company, because that is how they got in touch with us. They were impressed with what they saw. But definitely in terms of visually impaired persons, you can come down to us if it is you want tuition, if it is you have a talent and you would like to work with us as well. And we are just here to be a blessing to the country of Trinidad and Tobago and to fly the flag internationally and fly it high.
And lastly, where can we find you guys on social media, websites? Can you tell us?
We are available on Facebook. You have to search 5Z1 Ecclesia. Also, you can email us at 5Z1productionhouse@gmail.com. And we are located upstairs B Mobile on Frederick Street.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome, Nicole. Yeah.